Stay connected. Make sure you hit the subscribe button.
Portland and Ithaca. Two teams, one day, one Cortaca jug.
It's do or die. Sound of the Cortaca, far side, Bill Gladney, over shoulder, touchdown Bombers. It's Bill Gladney on the corner route in the far end zone. 15 touchdown. Bombers touchdown.
Ready to go? All right, everybody. Another exciting day here at Ithaca College. My name is Justin Lutz. I'm the Associate Director of Athletic Communications here at IC. We're joined by a bunch of special guests today. We have Matt Fox, who is the Senior Manager, John Mosley, the Director of Football Development with the New York Yankees, as well as Mark Holtzman, who is the Vice President of non-baseball sports events. And at this time, I would like to bring Mark Holtzman up to the podium to give a few remarks.
Thank you, Justin. It's truly a pleasure to be here at beautiful Ithaca College today. Thanks for asking us to come to Ithaca and this beautiful place for such a special announcement. While Yankee Stadium is best known as the home of the record 27-time world champion New York Yankees, it's also seen its fair share of memorable sporting events dating back to 1923, when the first Yankee Stadium opened. Some of the greatest sporting events, and just plain events, of all time. Legendary Army football games against Notre Dame in the 1930s and 40s, which back then, and even today, are regarded as some of the greatest football games ever played. In 1958, the pro era of the NFL was officially ushered in when the Baltimore Colts beat the New York Giants in overtime, when Alan the Horse Amici went over from the 1-yard line at Yankee Stadium in overtime. Baltimore was, of course, quarterbacked by Johnny Unitas. And many NFL historians have said that day ushered in the modern era of pro football. It was at Yankee Stadium. For those who are boxing aficionados, who could forget? I'm going way back here before I think probably anyone in this room, including myself, was born. 1938. War was in the winds, and Joe Louis fought Max Schmeling of Nazi Germany for the World Heavyweight Championship and beat him to a pulp at Yankee Stadium. A very memorable match. Then later boxing matches, which some of you might remember, the great Muhammad Ali versus Ken Norton. The Pope was there at Yankee Stadium on 3 different occasions. And of course, the great Yankees that have graced the field at Yankee Stadium, going back to the Sultan of Swat, Babe Ruth, the Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, Derek Jeter, Reggie Jackson, and you can go on. And just think, in a little over 14 months, the young men from both of your schools will be gracing the same field that these men of history have graced in the last 100 years. And it's something they'll be able to tell their grandchildren someday. So the Yankees also know great sporting events when they see them. And we want to have them at Yankee Stadium. And this game will add to the rich history and tradition at Yankee Stadium. 2 New York schools playing in the world's most famous stadium, which happens to be in New York. It doesn't get any better than that. In fact, it was the stunning success of the 2019 Cortaca Jug game at the Meadowlands that inspired not only our organization, but me personally, to officially extend today an invitation to Ithaca College and SUNY Cortland to play the 2022 rivalry match in our home in none other than the Bronx, New York. What I'd like to do at this time is have Susan and Mike please come up here, and I have something to present them with to honor the occasion. So as of today, I am making both of you honorary New York Yankees. Susan? There we go, for the year 22. Mike?
This is awesome.
You're now part of the fabric.
Thank you so much.
Live streams. Sorry. Just
And so
Thank you.
we're looking forward to rolling
I got
out the pinstripe carpet and welcoming these 2 schools together, the Yankee Stadium lineup, on Saturday, November 12th,
Thank you.
2022, with a 1 p.m. kickoff time. We truly believe that the game will sell out and set yet another Division III attendance record. We're intent on creating an epic experience for the teams and for their passionate fans, students, families, and alumni alike. I think it's great that both schools are doing a whole week of activities leading up to the game, and that this game is much more than just a football game itself. It's encompassing every administrative department in both schools pulling together to create a once-in-a-lifetime event. And there's no better place to have that once-in-a-lifetime event than at magical Yankee Stadium. You know, I can still remember, I've been with the Yankees 13 years. I can still remember the roar at Yankee Stadium when Derek Jeter collected his 3,000th hit, that majestic home run that went into left field. And then when Mariano Rivera, I was just there for a year, in 2009, reported the final out when the Yankees won their last World Championship and the stadium was rocking. I believe the stadium will be rocking again. So on behalf of the New York Yankees, a big thank you to Athletic Director Susan Bassett from Ithaca College and Mike Ertz from Cortland, and their head football coaches, Dan Swanstrom and Kurt Fitzpatrick, for accepting our invitation and coming to visit us in the Bronx. So for the next 15 months, our casa will be your casa. We promise it's going to be a memorable game, an exceptional experience for everyone involved in your college communities. And now I'm pleased to turn over the session to Susan Bassett, Associate Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics and Recreational Sports at Ithaca College. Susan.
Wow, this is great. Thanks, Mark, Matt, and John. And thanks to our guests from the news media who are joining us this morning. It's great to see you all here and in person to boot. We're so excited to share this news with you today. Thank you to the New York Yankees. This is a fantastic opportunity for the Ithaca College and SUNY Cortland communities to experience our annual rivalry game in such a historic venue. We're honored to have this incredible rivalry, once referred to by Sports Illustrated as the biggest little game in the nation, to be among the featured football games at Yankee Stadium. That says a lot about our heritage, our history, and our never-give-up competitive spirit. Most importantly, we want students and their families and our incredible alumni, our faculty and staff, and friends of Ithaca College and Cortland to be part of this remarkable event too, just as they were in 2019. And just like the last time, we will engage and empower the entire campus community through innovative experiential learning, activities that take advantage of the distinctive New York City setting. We're so fortunate that once in a lifetime is coming twice. Because of this place, Ithaca College, progress never stops. And I want to say this, as someone who grew up 20 miles north of Yankee Stadium and watched all the greats there as I was growing up as a young athlete. It is beyond a dream come true for me to bring our football family and our Ithaca College family there. As an Ithaca College graduate, I couldn't be more excited for my alma mater. As director of athletics, I could not be happier for our student athletes. Each college will be getting 5,000 tickets set aside for sale next fall for their students, faculty, and staff, priced at $24.50 each. The other 32,000 tickets will go on sale for the general public this fall, beginning at noon on Tuesday, November 16th. Most of the tickets are priced from $24.50 to $69.50 and will be sold through Ticketmaster at cortacajug.com and at alumni.ithaca.edu/Cortaca22. We agree with Mark Holtzman from the Yanks that it is highly likely this game will be a sellout. So we urge alumni and other fans to get their tickets early. So now, we all know that great rivalries develop over years through high achievement and mutual respect. I am pleased to introduce my counterpart and trusted colleague from SUNY Cortland, Director of Athletics, Mike Ertz. Mike?
Awfully nice, Susan, I appreciate that. And I will be brief, and I couldn't agree more. It's so great to actually be in a room. We took all this for granted for so long, especially this particular weekend or this game, and then to have everything turned upside down for so long, it's been a challenge, but we're all working through it. But to be back in this room with a lot of the usual faces feels really good. Of course, love this topic as well. And as I said, I will be brief. I want to start out by thanking Ithaca College for having us over here today. I appreciate it. It's always a first-class operation. Want to thank Mark Kudak behind the scenes for all the work he does for this great event. And certainly want to thank the Steinbrenner family and the Yankee organization for this unbelievable honor. Great invitation. We're so happy to accept. Think this is, for us to get the accolades for this, for me as an athletic director, when it's all the hard work of the alumni and the players of past, present, and even future, to put both our institutions in this position is it's humble and very appreciative of it. I'll just finish by saying that this is an incredibly exciting moment in a storied rivalry, already full of amazing memories. The Cortaca Jug game is the best that small college football has to offer, and is deserving of a first-class venue such as Yankee Stadium. We are looking forward to watching Cortland's great alums and fans, along with Ithaca's, do battle in the Bronx. With that again, I thank you. Thank you once again. At this time, I'd like to call up our head football coach, Kurt Fitzpatrick. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for everyone for being here today. What an awesome day. I first would like to say thank you to the entire New York Yankees organization. This is an incredible experience. and an exciting time. Thanks to Mark Hudak and his organization for the organization of making this dream become a reality. The administration at both schools, SUNY Cortland and Ithaca College, thank you very much for this opportunity. This is such an unreal for me as the relatively new head football coach at Cortland to think about taking my football team to play in an iconic venue in a rivalry game on this stage is just an awesome thought. As a boy, Mark mentioned some of the iconic games, football games that have been held in Yankee Stadium throughout history, and I remember as a young boy learning about the Newt Rockne win one for the Gipper, Notre Dame versus Army game, the Colts Giants 58 NFL championship, and to think that this game, that Cortaca will be on the same stage that those iconic games are. It's just an incredible, just all around, just an awesome opportunity for our players, for our coaches, for our alumni, and couldn't be more excited for it. So thank you guys very much. And with that, I'd like to introduce head coach at the college, Dan Swatchman.
Thanks. Really excited to be up here, and I like the extending the invitation to the head football coaches and me accepting it. Twist my arm to come play in Yankee Stadium. I love it. I love that. Yeah. But first, going forth, I was kind of anxious about what I would say here, and it went exactly as I thought. A lot of the comments, a lot of what was said is kind of what I had in my notes. So I had a backup plan, so I'm going to go to backup plan here. But first, I got to thank the administrations, both schools, and everybody that has helped put this on and allowing our program to go play at Yankee Stadium. Just super exciting for our students. One of the things I really just truly loved about the game in 2019 was how it brought our student body together. From the School of Business, to the School of Communications putting the game on, to the School of Music performing. And I thought that was just the neatest thing, was just bringing the community together. And then also the alumni and the passion for Ithaca and coming together for that weekend. And I can't wait to do that again. The thing that I was kind of go to plan B here was just kind of take this in a different direction and just tell you a couple personal stories. So, as some know in this room, I grew up in Texas, and my mother grew up in Long Island. Her parents were from Long Island, and my mother told me a story that had a baseball just sitting on the mantle that my grandfather claimed was a home run hit by Mickey Mantle, and she said one of the sides was flat. Now, my grandfather was a joker, but I texted her this morning just to make sure, and she said he swears that was a true Mickey Mantle home run baseball. My aunt and my mother took it off the mantle when they were young children and threw it and lost it in the woods. And they said my grandfather and the family and the brothers just scoured the forest for days trying to find that baseball. And then the second story is when my grandfather used to come watch me play baseball when I grew up and was playing baseball down in Houston. I'd always come off the field and he's like, you look like Craig Nettles out there. 1998, 15-year-old playing third baseman in high school baseball in Houston, Texas. Craig Nettles, like he has to get on the internet and I had to look this up and figure it out. But and then so those are two personal stories. And then the third story, when I was working at the University of the Redlands, my roommate, his grandfather was Gino Marchetti, who played in the Yankee Stadium in the game, and is a Hall of Fame football player. So as the point of this is, from someone who grew up in Houston, to have so many personal stories to the New York Yankees, to the Yankees, to Yankee Stadium, to how many alums, students, and different people that we have in the tri-state area. It's not just me having those types of stories. Imagine how many people have so much more and so much more depth to the connections of being and playing at a Yankee Stadium. And when I think about that and the impact, and now Ithaca gets to join that in that story tradition, and we get to add and cement our own memories and our own time in that stadium, is just amazing. And I couldn't be more excited, and I can't wait. But we got a lot of work to do, certainly with this year, but on this day, and this moment, it's pretty special. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Fitzpatrick and Coach Longstrom. This is a really big deal, our big stage, and we intend to make this a college-wide celebration and demonstration of excellence as IC engages both the current campus community and our alumni. Some 17,000 of whom live in the greater New York City area, and Cortland has more than 18,000 alumni living in the tri-state area. As you'll see in the news release that we just handed out, the Cortaca Jug is going to be the centerpiece of our first ever alumni homecoming weekend in New York City, taking place from Thursday, November 10th to Sunday, November 13th. The Marriott Marquis in the heart of Times Square will serve as the exclusive host hotel for the Ithaca College weekend. And while the Cortaca Jug will be a centerpiece of Ithaca College's annual homecoming weekend, it will be by no means the only game in town. With the annual Alumni Awards celebration, Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and dinners and receptions for celebrated class years among the events planned. If you have questions about what we are planning for the 2022 Alumni Homecoming Weekend in the Big Apple, please speak with Wendy Kobler, our Vice President for Philanthropy and Engagement, who is with us here this morning. Wendy? Wendy's team launched a website this morning that will have regular updates on the 2022 Alumni Homecoming Weekend and the 2022 Cortaca Jug. The URL is listed at the end of the news release. We already have 2022 Cortaca Jug hoodies and t-shirts available in our IC campus store.
Justin, could you
Hold those up?
Thank you.
So we're already ready to roll out the merchandise. We have hoodies and navy blue t-shirts available. There'll be hats on the way.
Sorry.
So suffice it to say, the Battle of the Bronx has officially begun. Go Bombers. Finally, before we close, we want to offer a very big, special, and sincere thank you to Mark Hudak, IC class of 90, and Bobby Garone, class of 87, for their continued stellar support of their beloved alma mater. Without their behind-the-scenes alumni leadership and their sideline support, we would not be heading to New York City in 2022. We're incredibly grateful to these former football teammates who are still teaming up on behalf of IC. We are incredibly grateful. They epitomize the alumni spirit, powerful passion, and philanthropic generosity that helps make Ithaca College a great place for student athletes and all of our students. Thank you, Mark and Bobby. While this event has been in the discussion stages for some time now, it has only just been finalized. And that means we may not have answers to all the questions that you have in mind, but we'll get there. Please rest assured, over the coming months, we'll be working hard to ensure that the 2022 Cortaca Jug game is one in which every member of the Ithaca College and SUNY Cortland communities can take great pride in, and even that will all happen even before the kickoff. So we'll take your questions in a moment, but first, let me once again close by thanking the New York Yankees for this enviable invitation and incredible opportunity to take the Cortaca Jug to even greater heights and under even brighter lights in 2022. Thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate it. I'd now like to turn the podium back to Justin Lutz, who will moderate your questions. Thanks, everybody.
can open it up to some questions. If anyone has it.
How long has this been in the process of working out?
Take it. So, actually, we were interested in taking the 2019 game to Yankee Stadium. So discussions between Mr. Holtzman and Mark Cortaca went back a few years prior to that. And availability wasn't there. We went with MetLife, and as Mark Holtzman shared, once he saw the enormous success of our game at MetLife, he was interested in talking with us. So we had barely cleared the cobwebs from 2019, and Mark Cortaca was busy at work lining this up, and we're just truly fortunate that the date was available, and our senior leadership team from Ithaca College and Portland agreed to allow us to move forward with the game.
54,000 the capacity for a pinstripe bowl and for football at Yankee Stadium. Is that the goal for for 2022's game? Because the D3 record is 45,000, but expected sellout. So is that 54,000, or is that a number higher than 45?
54,000 was when we put bleachers on the field, which I don't believe we're doing anymore.
Mark, could you stand up and come up to the mic? That'll,
Sure.
Because we're broadcasting it live too.
Okay, sure. 54,000 was for Notre Dame Army a number of years ago when we put bleachers on the field, but the problem when we did that is that the bleachers covered up some other sight lines for some other seats, so it's probably not the best thing to do in a baseball stadium, so we cannot approach that number. I can't give you at this point an exact number because we still have to prepare for the possibility of snow, although it's a little early and probably premature. Suffice it to say, it's our goal to exceed the amount of people that were in the Meadowlands in 2019. That's the goal. I can't give you an exact number as to how many that will be, but that's our goal.
Yes.
There's a live stream for the broadcast at MetLife Stadium, and Ithaca important student media got to cover it. Has there been any discussions for media rights for this upcoming game yet?
You want to answer that one? It will be televised in some way. You know, we're still quite a ways off to finalize all those details, but as we get them, we will share them with everybody and work with the college student media and along with the New York Yankees organization.
Yeah, you never know what could happen. I mean, we have the Yes Network, which is obviously going to be very involved promoting this game, and some discussions are going to be ongoing as to what their involvement is. Let's also not completely rule out. I mean, I'm a dreamer, and I always like to aspire to something that might be a little out of reach, but you know what, sport, you referred earlier to what Sports Illustrated referred to this game. Well, there is something called ESPN Game Day. And we were close a few times with a few games. And I'd love to make a pitch. I mean, ESPN broadcasts the pinstripe ball. We have a very good relationship with them. And this is going to be a very special day. And this game gives hope to a lot of people. It really does. To see what we can pull off, Division III football. And like I said, I'm a dreamer, and who knows? Maybe this could be in the running for ESPN Game Day that day. It's worth giving it a shot, don't you think?
Any more questions from anybody? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so with a major game like this, obviously a big part is the tailgating. That was like that with MetLife, but knowing Yankee Stadium and not a lot of space to tailgate. Is there a plan for that?
I'll let Mark.
Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. This is a little different. This is a city game, and there are parking lots, but they're garages, and you limit what you can do in a garage. If you want to bring in a turkey or tuna sandwich and put down your gate, that's fine, but there can't be any barbecue. What we do have, though, it's a very unique setting at Yankee Stadium. First of all, at the stadium itself, we have multiple hospitality spaces, multiple, that are going to be open a few hours before the game, that both schools are going to share. And that's going to allow a few thousand people to participate prior to the game inside the stadium in pre-game activities. Also, let's not forget, whereas, the Meadowlands was a great parking lot, but there's nothing else around there. Yankee Stadium is located, in the city, in the Bronx, where their homes are, it's a somewhat of a suburban neighborhood, not far in the surrounding area. So you have there are a number of restaurants right there, right by Yankee Stadium, legendary restaurants that have been there forever, that are very experienced in hosting large functions before the game. And I'm sure that by game time, between the Ithaca and Cortland, all those places will be full to the brim. So it's going to be a little different. It's a little different kind of tailgating, but I think ultimately people will be just as pleased.
And also too, Mark, the city.
Speak up.
I just said what happens a lot. You have the D train, the 4 train. A lot of times what they do, they designate certain areas of restaurants or bars as their kind of their tailgate. Unlike the Meadowlands, where you could just jump on the 4 train and bam, you'll be at Yankee Stadium. And then the D train, you'll be at Yankee Stadium. So, and Wendy's gonna help coordinate a lot of that, and the bands and so forth. So that's always been a question is regarding tailgating, but it kind of works out fairly well. So those are some of the alternatives. You designate a nice bar as your bar, and that way you know where to go, where to get your tickets, where everyone's at. So that's what's going to happen during that week. You're going to be able to coordinate a lot of stuff around everyone and when people come in and out. So
you'll also probably have some people who we are right by public transportation. We're right by the subway, it takes you right to Yankee Stadium. Metro North takes you right to Yankee Stadium. You'll literally probably have some people who tailgate right in New York City in the park, and then just hop on the subway, and in 15 minutes you're at Yankee Stadium. So it's a little different, but there's plenty of opportunity to have a full fun day. It's just not going to be, like you see at traditional NFL stadiums that have big concrete parking lots that fit 15,000, 20,000 people. Does everyone here think the Yankees are going to make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Are there any plans for the Yankees players to be involved in the day for the game in any capacity?
For players?
Yeah.
Well, you might have to talk to the school Yankee players or college.
Yankees.
Oh, well, there's always that possibility. I mean, some of the players, we invite them to the games, and a lot of them are college football fans. Aaron Boone, our manager, has been at games before. I mean, that's something that really hasn't been discussed. But as we get closer, absolutely. I mean, once again, we want you to share in the Yankee equity and all that we can bring to the table. And if that means, inviting some of our players who are college football fans to attend the game and maybe be part of things and be part of some alumni functions during the week, we're all ears.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody else again for coming out. You have the press releases, they're up.
I just want to add that at the end here, if you want to do any one-on-one interviews, in addition to Justin, myself, Bob Wagner, Dave Maley, Danica Fisher are all here and can help you. So we want to make sure you get everything that you're looking for, and we've got a number of people here who'd be happy to talk to you further. Thanks, Justin.
So as I was saying, the press release is already out, you have it, and over these next 14 months, you'll see a whole lot of more information coming from us in Cortland as we get ready for next November. So we'd like to thank you once again for coming out today.
Stay connected. Make sure you hit the subscribe button